Welcome to Lost Girl Therapy, where we work on getting you back to you. Today, we are continuing the conversation of what you require to change your life, and the answer is simply holding awareness for yourself. But holding awareness for yourself becomes really challenging when you have fear about who you currently are. And fear is something that we misinterpret. A lot of times in the self-identity journey, we interpret this fear as having something wrong with ourselves. We believe that somehow along the way, we picked up something in life that said, we are not good, we are not capable, there's something wrong with us, we're not going to be successful. And we think that we brought that into life ourselves. That somehow from the day you were born to now, something went wrong. And inside, we're just not that great. And it is impossible that someone sees something good in us because we really firmly believe something is wrong. But that fear narrative doesn't come from the inside. It comes from external, given to you, and internalized. When we grow up, there are so many instances of receiving external feedback on who you are. If you think about the academic sector, all of academia is based on external validation. When you're a kid, you are receiving feedback from your teachers every single day that if you are a good student or a bad student, a student that they enjoy having in the classroom, a student that they never want to have in the classroom again. And as a kid, we don't really have the words to say, hang on, my self-worth is not tied to how well I do in school. Who I am as a person is not actually dictated by the grades that I get or what a teacher thinks about me. We just don't have that language. And so instead, when we receive feedback back and forth every single day, from the moment you start school all the way up to the moment you graduate, you are internalizing things about yourself. And we never stop to say, this isn't meant for me. Instead, we just kind of absorb it and we go about our day. But all of that feedback, positive and negative, it sits in you. And essentially the way that I think about it is, when you receive a ton of external feedback, it has to go somewhere. It has to stay inside of you to some degree. And your body and your soul only have so much room for that feedback to exist. And when we receive all of that external stuff, we actually have to put parts of ourselves away in order to continue having space. And the parts of ourselves that we put away tend to be the parts of ourselves that contradict the feedback that we're getting. So even if you are bright and rambunctious and outgoing, if you receive feedback from your teacher that you are such a quiet, kind, gentle student, chances are you're going to turn the dial down on all of those bright and magnetic parts of you, because it is easier to fit in and to maintain that positive feedback loop than it would be to be your authentic self. Now, everybody goes through this phase. You're going to have times in life where you start to kind of adjust the pieces of you in order to fit in. That's kind of the natural way of things. But when adjustment forces you to take the best parts of yourselves and put them away, that is where we actually start negating what the soul and your body and your mind need. That's where we start taking your authentic self and we basically put it in a corner and we say, this lifetime, it's not meant for this version of us. It's okay, we're going to keep being the person that other people need us to be because we fit in more. We exist better in this space when we act this way versus when we are true to ourselves. And that distance between the persona and who you really are, that's where all that fear sits. That is exactly where all of the anxiety starts springing up that says, hang on, maybe who I am really isn't that great. Maybe who I am is not capable. Maybe I'm not going to be as successful as everyone tells me I'm going to be, and maybe I'm not going to be capable because no one believes I'm going to be capable. We start relying more on the feedback from others than we do on checking in with what feels right for ourselves. And that's why it gets incredibly scary when that time comes and we say, oh, I'm not really sure if I feel good about myself right now, so I'm trying to design my future self. When you try to design your future self, if you do not have stock of who you are right now, it's going to be incredibly challenging because you're basically taking a massive risk, and your soul, your mind, and your body are all going to say, I don't know if this feels right. And it's not because the person that you're trying to design isn't meant for you. It's simply because you don't have those signals. You don't have that gut check that says, yes, that type of person, that is exactly who I want to be because I already have traits of it in myself right now. So when you are trying to design your future self or your future life, you need to know what you already hold. You need to know who you are at this moment in order to then say, yeah, these are the traits I want to take forward. This is the type of person I want to become. This is the parts of me currently that I want to leave behind because they just no longer serve me. But it's really hard to dismantle that. It's really hard to dismantle the fear and the anxiety when you have had maybe 15, 20, 30, 40 plus years of being someone for others instead of being someone for yourself. If you are someone who is struggling with that fear and anxiety in your present day, I want you to consider this. The fear that you hold was given to you. It was not between you and yourself. The fear that you hold was given to you by external conditions. It was given to you by everyone around you, and we just passively accepted it. So the only thing that is required for you to overcome that fear, to start dismantling the fear narratives, to start challenging yourself to see how you feel, is to decide that I no longer buy into the external narratives. It's a choice. I choose to no longer believe every single thing that was told to me, good or bad. And I take time to get to know who I am right now because I am choosing to embrace the person that I am right now in order to become the person that I've always wanted to be.